Looks like it'll be a small meeting tonight, and if people come in, we'll catch them up as necessary. But like I said, this meeting shouldn't take up too much time. Not a whole lot of major updates to give in a lot of our different areas, but of course, we want to make sure that we go through everything as it's due. So Scotty, if I could put you on the spot real quick to lead us in a quick word of prayer to get our district committee meeting started.
Sure, that'd be great. I'd like to do the Rover Scout prayer. Baden-Powell used this. It's based upon the prayer of St. Ignatius of Loyola. By the spirits of the just made perfect in their suffering, teach us in our turn, O Lord, to serve thee as we ought, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heed the wounds, to toil and not to seek for rest, to labor and not to ask for any reward, save that of knowing that we do thy will. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Scotty. And of course, speaking of prayer, I'm sure everyone has been made aware at this point, but last week, Grace's mom passed away due to COVID-19. So if you were not aware of that or aware of that, please be sure to keep her and her family in your prayers as well. It is always tough losing a family member, and she could definitely use the help and support from her scouting family. But moving ahead, I only have just a couple of short little council updates for you guys. Major three things I just want to talk about. Upcoming events. Pretty much the only two main events that we have are IOLS at the end of the month, and then Klondike Camp tomorrow. Art, I know I said I was going to get a little write-up about Klondike. I was not able to get my hands on that today, so I'll have to send that out in an email when I send out the summary for the meeting, but I promise I will do that then. Those are the two major council updates. Of course, we do have our district cubbery this upcoming weekend, which Christina has been working her tail off to get on and make happen. So very, very happy to have her leadership. I'm sure that Christina is very excited to have this event and have this event behind her after this weekend. So Christina, we do very much appreciate your great dedication and leadership in this very short time frame, and with a lot of different moving pieces and help coming in and out and moving around. So we definitely appreciate your efforts, and we're very excited to have a good event. And we'll ask for just a quick update on where we stand from you just a little bit later on in this meeting. But just wanted to kind of right in the beginning, want to say thank you so much for all the work you've done so far. Other major update as of right now, we did send out a mailer earlier this week with hard copies of all of our units' recharter information. We are in recharter season, so make sure that all of your units are making sure that that is getting done in a timely manner. The quicker that you can get your recharter packets turned in and into the council office, the quicker we have time to figure out if there's any defective issues with any recharters, whether we're missing an application, missing a signature, someone doesn't have YPT done, et cetera, et cetera. Quicker we can get all those issues fixed, the better. It means a lot less calling from Scotty and myself to all of our units trying to figure out what info we still need. Speaking of youth protection training, we are coming on 2 years after the new YPT was moved in. Many of you guys probably took YPT around this time 2 years ago to get recertified with the new training that came out from National. So do be sure that you are completing YPT again and re-upping with it. It does expire every 2 years. However, you can take it every year, or honestly, however, as often as you want. It is a good and very detailed training. And pretty much every time that I know that I take it, I'm reminded of something that I had either forgotten or was not aware of. So definitely encourage everyone to definitely check up on their YPT certification and make sure that it is very up to date, as we are around that time of year when it will start getting out of date. So definitely check up on that. Lastly, just another quick reminder, we are also in our nominating committee season. At our Key 4 meeting yesterday, we met with Tom O'Block, who is going to be our nominating committee chairman for this upcoming year. We're going to discuss a couple of the open positions we have on the committee and who we think from both in our scouting community and our community in Kershaw County and Fairfield County, who we think would be best fits to fill different positions on our district committee, to make sure that it is operating at full strength and also is operating to a means to not only serve all of our units effectively, but also serve our community effectively as well. So if you have any nominations from either people in your community circles or unit circles, please make sure those nominations get to either myself or Tom in the next couple of weeks. We'll be meeting towards the end of the month to officially decide on the roster that we will present to the district committee at our December roundtable. And then once we ratify it as a district, we will send it on to the council for them to ratify at the council annual business meeting on December 15th. So like I said, if you have nominations, please get those to me or Tom in the next couple of weeks. I'll send out a quick email and a reminder after this meeting on positions that our committee needs filled. And so if you think you know someone who would be a good fit for those positions, please let me know. But that is it for my reminders. Like I said, it was nice, short, and easy. So we'll move quickly into activities. And pretty much main activity of the day is, of course, our Wateree. So Christina, do you want to take just a couple minutes and kind of summarize where we stand, what you still need, and anything else pertinent to our Wateree this Saturday, or weekend, excuse me?
Yeah. Well, everything is finally coming together. The final numbers are in, and looking at that, we have a total of 62 registered parties. This is not including the volunteers or the leaders. Out of that, we have a total of 31 youth. 26 of those are scouts, and we have at least one scout in every rank. So that's going to be really exciting. As far as the needs, I don't think I'm really needing anything that we haven't already discussed. Tomorrow is my day to run around and try to scramble and get everything together, but I can't really think right now past this hour. So
That tends to be a side effect of being an event chairman. Christina, remind me, you will be or plan to be at the office after 10 o'clock tomorrow morning?
I can be there at 10. I can head up there actually. Once I take the kids to school and fight the Columbia traffic. Sorry, that was my son. And be up there possibly, let's see, they 8. I could probably be up there by 9 if I need to be.
Okay. Then we'll plan to meet you sometime between 9 and 10 o'clock. Let's shoot for 9:30. How about that?
Okay. I'm not sure what kind of traffic I'll run into, of course, but we'll just have to play that by ear.
Yep, and that's fine. But like I said, I have all that stuff laid out for you, and we'll be good to go from there. Again, just in front of everyone, do you want to appreciate or thank you again, Christina, for your many efforts these past couple of weeks. I know it's been a lot in a very short time frame. I promise typically our events are usually planned out a little bit further in advance, just with the COVID and everything else happening. We obviously had a short window, but I do want to say thank you so much for all of your efforts. And I'm very happy to see all of your events come to, or all of your efforts come to fruition this Saturday.
I do want to ask one thing. With this being a part of Historic Camden, and I think this is going to be a really good thing, can I send in an article to the Scout magazine with pictures? Because the fact that these kids are actually going to be making bricks that are going to be a part of this historic, I don't want to say monument, but replica, I guess, is where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be of interest to somebody. At least I hope it would be.
Oh, most definitely. I think that's a great idea. One to just publicize this event a little bit, but also just kind of get our little piece of from our little district to out kind of on the national scale with the Voice Life magazine. I think that's a fantastic idea. I fully support that.
I mean, it's a great idea to do that. Also, Christina, have we got a local paper coming and doing anything for that too?
I haven't called anybody, but I know Virginia has been doing a lot of advertising. Virginia Zemp over at Historic Camden. I'm not sure what her avenues are, and I'm sure that there will be out there because it is Revolutionary War Days. Oh, and our scouts will be doing both muster marches. So they're doing a muster march at 11, or is it's 10:30 and 2. She wants them to do it on both since we have such a small number. And it's going to be led by the children of the American Revolution. So there's going to be a lot of history here. I just think it's going to be really fun.
Certainly sounds that way. Oh, by the way, Christina, just to update you, I did try calling the Birch family again today and got their voicemail again. So I'll try calling them again tomorrow.
Well, emails have been sent out to every participating family, whether people look at it or not, or if my email has gone to spam, I couldn't tell you. So if we could get your leadership and your different packs to just say, hey, if you're going to Wateree, please check your email because there's very important information in that email.
That sounds great. So yes, any of the unit leaders that we have on our call, please make sure that all of your participating leaders and families are reading Christina's emails. Emails are always filled with important information, so we want to make sure that everyone is reading those. Any other updates that you would like to give Christina on Wateree?
No, I think we're pretty caught up. I'll answer questions if anybody's got them.
Any questions for Christina, anyone? All right, looks like you covered everything pretty well, Christina. Thank you so much. Looks like we're moving right ahead. Ed Holland is not with us to give a camping update, and nor is Greg with us to give an advancement update. So it looks like we're moving right into unit service. So Scotty, you're up.
Very good. Thank you so much. So I submitted my district commissioner report yesterday during the Key 4 meeting, which unfortunately I was not able to attend. On the 24th of October, we had Trevor Albright's Court of Honor, which was amazing. And even though we had a lot of people attending, a lot of family members from out of town, we abided by the safe scouting and COVID restrictions. And it was just an amazing expression of gratitude and everything for a job well done and for a very, very deserving young man whose dad happens to be on this call right now and who's probably going to be stepping as the next district commissioner because I'm going to put him up for it when I step down this day. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I'm just kidding. The 7th and 8th, we've got the Wateree, as we already started. We need to start planning right now for our very next Wateree so that we don't run into the landmines that we unintentionally ran into this time. I feel
already saying that she's not going to do it next year. So.
a
one and done, apparently.
I feel extremely bad because of the lack of support that I gave her, and that was hugely unintentional. I was flat on my back. There's no good excuse for poor performance, but I was flat on my back, sicker than I can ever remember being for 2 straight weeks. And I promised to be in there with her through thick or thin. And thankfully for us, Wayne and the Troop 316 Scouts and also the PAC 303 Scouts with June and Craig's leadership, along with Ed and Tom and others, have stepped up to help her, which I'm sure was a great help to her. I do want to do a detailed after action report, start, stop, continue, however you want to phrase that, and I will use that as a building block to make the next Wateree even better. And I do need, Christina, your input for that science. I still have it here somewhere. The thing that you were talking about for the venue on that as well. Wood Badge orientation is this weekend. I'm going to be attending out in Lexington until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. After that, I'm going to be running over to the Wateree and being a part of that. I talked to Craig. He's going to be doing the flag retirement ceremony. Wayne, I don't know if you remember or not, but the last time we did one at a Wateree, Craig was there and he was very impressed. So he was asking for our agenda on that. So I'm going to send that along to him as well. I will be there on Sunday morning when Hunter Prest does the Scout Zone service and for the ending of our portion of the Wateree. I'm attending the PD Council Commissioners College for my master's in Commissioner Science next weekend on the 14th. I do have a question I want to save until the end from our previous district committee meeting. There's no new updates on the district calendar, so I didn't include that as part of my district commissioner's report. Craig I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's a wonderful guy and I talk to him every other day. Mazjuski is the new Cub Master for PAC 303. He is a Master Sergeant in the Air Force out at Shaw Air Force Base, currently on night duty. So as he is driving to Shaw, I am driving away from Shaw, and we usually talk to each other en route. He's fantastic. Not only has he stepped up to be the Cub Master, he's interested in commissioner service as well. He served as a commissioner previously as a unit commissioner for a short time. And coming from Japan, he was a Cub Master and unit commissioner and attended Wood Badge, even though he was 200 miles from the nearest support system for scouting. So he's amazing. Ed Gatsky, who many of you know, who's the scoutmaster for the female troop. Is it 0287 or
2870?
2870. It was going to be a troop guide for this coming Wood Badge crew. Unfortunately, he had to step down unexpectedly Tuesday. And again, talking about stepping up and doing the right thing, Craig stepped up and is taking his place as a troop guide for Wood Badge. So can't say enough about our volunteers. And it's also given June, who is, as everybody know, just I don't know what you call her, the locomotive when it comes to being just, ambitious and forward thinking and proactive, and just having a heart for scouting. Has allowed June to take a well-deserved kind of breather and get an opportunity to think of better ways to serve and to make the PAC 303 even greater than it already is. Concerned about PAC 113. As many of you know, the 25th of November is going to be my last day actually working at a job where I draw a paycheck. So one of my top priorities is to work with PAC 113 and get them back on their feet. That week after Thanksgiving, I plan on taking the minister for the Winsboro First Baptist Church to lunch, and anybody is welcome to come with me there. I want to give him a pep talk. He sounds like he has a continued interest in supporting scouting, even though our last PAC in Fairfield County, which was at his location, folded just after the last Court of Honor that we had there. So I want to come up with a plan, preferably keeping the Wood Badge tickets in mind to help grow that PAC up there, and also to grow a female unit in and or around the Elgin area. Norm Gullard was in a bad rear-ender car wreck, not this week, but last week. He does not need your prayers because he went back to work yesterday. So very sore, kind of the whiplash kind of thing. Norm, as you know, is probably one of the strongest human beings next to Wayne Albright that I think we have as adult leaders. They're both like, can lift my house probably with one hand. But so he's doing better. 777 continues to be a powerhouse. I know I've got Lakeith on board. If you want to add anything about the wonderful things that you guys are doing out there, they're doing great. Troop 303 is meeting virtually only. Johnny Shirley and I have it as a personal goal to try to get every unit with a formal assessment before the end of the year. He was unable to do one on 303 simply because they're just not meeting. They're only meeting virtually. And he was also going to try to do one on PAC 113. So we haven't gotten those yet. Troop 38 is meeting face-to-face, but they're not leaving the Camden Military Academy premises. 777 and 316 are healthy, wealthy, and wise, as I was saying earlier about 777. PAC 316 is healthy, but has not, don't correct me if I'm wrong, Christina, they've not assisted in the execution or preparation for the covery. Is that correct?
I have one parent that has volunteered for assistance, but that's the extent of it. You know, I'm attached to 316, so I guess that counts.
There you go. So the spirit of PAC 316 is on top of everything there, but yeah, so they're doing good. Greg's absence is being felt. Is Greg still on? Did he try? Oh, he's still there. Okay. So we miss you, buddy. We want you back. So the question that I had at the that I wanted to save to the very end: adopt a highway. And I talked to Kevin just briefly on the phone yesterday after the Key 4, and that slipped my mind. Michael, do you know anything that's happened with that? Are we moving forward? Art, do you have any updates?
I have not heard anything more on Adopt a Highway from either Kevin, other members of the Key 4, any of our unit leaders, or anything like that. So I don't have any updates. Art, have you heard anything?
I haven't either heard of anything. Right.
Okay. So we'll just table that until we can talk to Kevin and get some more information. So that's it. Do y'all have any questions of me? Anything that I need to be following up on, doing better? Anything at all, please tell me how I can serve better.
Scotty, I just have a couple comments on a few of the things you brought up. As it relates to next year's cubberies and camperies, I just want to let you know that I did submit budgets for activities that I help cover for next year's council today. So we do have approved budgets for activities throughout all of next year. So when we have that meeting for start, stop, and continue for the cubbery that happens this weekend as we plan ahead for next year, let me know and I'll take part in that meeting as well. And I'll just have the budget on hand just to kind of let you guys have a updated idea of, what the budget looks like. And that goes for our camperies as well. We are scheduled to have both a fall and spring cubbery and campery as of right now. If we only do one per year, that's fine, but just want to throw it out there that we do have the budget in mind for 2 events per year for both cubbery and campery. Secondly, you brought up something that reminded me, just a quick little note about advancement. I know I said that Greg isn't here to give an update about advancement, but I do know that he is anxious to get our awards for leaders from what was supposed to be this year's banquet out to our leaders who earned those awards. So I don't know if he was communicating with leaders or if leaders were supposed to communicate with him. But please, all the unit leaders that are attached to this call, reach out to Greg to figure out a good time for him to come to your unit to present awards to your leaders. I think that's what he decided on was going to be most convenient, just to come to your meetings and present awards to all the leaders in your units who earned awards last year. So either give him a call, shoot him an email, anything like that, your preferred method of communication, and that should be good.
Very good.
Do we have a list of who's getting awards? Because we don't have any scheduled PAT meetings at this point. We're only meeting at the DIN level.
So Greg would have all of the people who earned or who were voted for awards this year. So if you reach out to Greg, he can let you know who from your unit earned awards, and then we can move forward from there onto kind of setting up a time place. Like it may not necessarily be a PAC meeting, but just kind of a presentation for the unit. Yeah, Wayne.
Greg, your PAC and my troop has awards that's coming to us. What we need to do, and I forgot to do it, is we got to get together and find a time that we can have our adults meet together and then get them to do our PAC and troop together. But we both have awards, the troop, the PAC, and in our church.
And that brings up a good point about the campery as well. So my focus lately has been kind of laser focused in on the Cubs, but Wayne and Lakeith too, I got you on from 777. Do you all have any ideas or any preferences when it comes to a campery? I know that, gosh, I could think. There's been a recommendation out there that we do something fishing wise or something float wise or something like that. That could even be either a friendly competition or just people getting together, all the troops getting together and floating down a portion of something, some lake or stream out there. Any ideas when it comes to that, or what you would like to do, and what would be the best time frame for that?
I like the campery in the traditional sense of competing on scout skills.
Okay.
Is what I like. The date, as long as we plan things out, like that's something I wanted to say earlier, but like the cubbery, we like to help with that stuff, but we have a plan going on too of what we're doing as a troop. And if it's not planned ahead of time, we have trouble. We're reacting to contact instead of typically for the cubbery. I would try to do a camping trip and be there the whole time, especially seeing how it's my pack. But we got to plan it out farther so it beats my schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think campery, as far as Boy Scouts, competing in traditional things, fires, knots, what have you. That's what I like.
And Wayne, do you have a preference for campery being a once-a-year event? And if so, whether it takes place in the spring or the fall?
the council does one, I think it's every other fall.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to do it annually, maybe in the spring to counter that, so we don't, because we would probably try to attend both.
Okay. Good to know. It is currently the one we have right now. I had to fill out two, but the one I currently have filled out for the camporee is in the springtime in late April. That date is by no means firmly set. It'll of course depend on the availability of all of our units, since we want all of our units to participate. But it's tentatively marked as I think the last weekend in April right now. But like I said, that can of course change as we actually get closer to planning it out and get an event chairman and volunteers, the whole 9 yards.
And that's, you're talking about this April coming, right?
Yes, April 2021.
All right, I'll leave that open on my calendar. I'm not that far yet.
I need to check also when spring break is for all the school districts during that time.
Will school districts still be having spring break even with a COVID school year? Okay, just making sure. I knew it was a question before. I wasn't sure if that had been a answered question or anything like that, but that is good to know. Thank you for that reminder, Art. That is something to keep in mind. I'll keep my eye on that.
So that is 5 through 9 April for Wateree District, or for Wateree School District. Yeah, that's right. And you say there's a council camporee in April?
Now there's a council camporee next fall.
Oh, not
I
in
believe
April. What
September.
it was in April?
No, so our Wateree camporee would be in April,
Yeah,
like district camporee, but council camporee wouldn't be until the fall time.
Okay. Okay. All right. I was making notes on the calendar. So that's it for me. Unless anybody else has something. Greg, you looking good. I like that haircut. Hey, Lakeith, are you on board? The recommendation that I was talking about was from Norm as far as doing something on the water. Have you heard anything, or do you guys have any preference when it comes to a camporee with the troops?
I've not heard anything, and I've never experienced a camporee before, so I guess we just go with what the majority says.
All right, buddy. Thank you. All right, Michael. I'm done. Thank you very much.
All right, Scotty, thank you as always for a very detailed and very thorough commissioner's report. Always good to have those every month. No real updates to give on membership. Obviously, we have not done any further district-wide recruiting events. At this point, just between the struggles of both the counting the school year, COVID-19, it looks like we're pretty much going to end the year where we're at, aside from unit levels, adding in a couple scouts here and there. I know I spoke with June earlier today, and June was adding a couple scouts right before recharter time. Of course, that's pretty much always kind of how it goes. Like, new scouts always trickle in throughout the year. So definitely feel free to continue doing unit level recruitments as much as you want to. And we will probably be pushing to do some form of a spring recruitment to offset the slower fall recruitment that we had this year. Again, that's pretty much all up to if we have a resurgence in COVID or different things happening, just like in the upcoming springtime. But there are plans kind of being talked around, put together for a potential spring recruitment. So more updates on that to come in the coming months. That's pretty much where we stand membership wise. FOS, not really a whole lot to discuss. Right now we're kind of just at the point of we're just trying to wrap up a couple of our annual gifts that we get from some volunteers pretty much every year. And then we're also moving into planning for our FOS campaign next year. Next year's campaign will look a little bit different in kind of how we're going to structure both our community and family campaign, where we're currently thinking about dropping the family campaign in its entirety, not give an opportunity for the parents and the families of our units to have an opportunity to give should they be so inclined. More so just because we do recognize that for a lot of our units, it does feel like almost an undue pressure to have all the dues of scouting along with unit level fundraising nights that we have with our little Friends of Scouting presentations. So how we'll replace that, again, still to be determined over the next couple of weeks, and I'll have updates on that probably in December at our next committee meeting. But we may just want to put it out there that we may be moving away from our typical family campaign that we used to have. But on a different financial note, we do have a bit of an update on popcorn. Some of you guys may have seen an email from Grace that came out earlier this evening that our popcorn order from Campmaster, due to COVID-related reasons, has been delayed. It was originally supposed to come in next Friday on November 13th. It is now slated to come sometime in the first 2 weeks of December. I didn't read through the email to see if there was a specific date on it. That is just kind of what I heard earlier today from Grace. So I don't think we're quite sure on when the date is going to be. I'll double check my email just real quick. And yep, okay. So there's currently no date for when that popcorn will be delivered. It is just right now slated for sometime in the first 2 weeks of December. So just keep that in mind as you're kind of scheduling around and making sure that when we get that date, it will of course be pushed out often on multiple communication channels. So be on the lookout for that. We are working very closely with Campmaster to make sure that we get this date as quickly as possible so we can disseminate it out to everyone. But other update besides that is that a lot of our units in Wateree did do very well as it related to popcorn. Of course, it was a atypical year in that we weren't able to do as many or our sales as normal like we typically do. But we did have several units in the top 8 council-wide for online sales between Unit 777 and I believe Pack 303, and I think 316, either Pack or Troop was up there as well. I can't remember which one, but a lot of our units did very well. So congratulations to you guys. Lakeith, do you have any kind of specific update or updates that you want to add as our district popcorn chair?
No, you covered the one thing that I was going to talk about was the email that we got earlier today.
Okay. Well, in that case, sorry for stealing your thunder, Lakeith. But with that pretty much takes us to the end of the updates that I have. We don't really have a training update except for, of course, Scotty. I'm working with Scott to get a blue training leaders manual to Craig as quickly as possible so he can review it and get a weekend set for the council, or not the council, for the district. So hopefully I'll get my hands on that either tomorrow, this weekend, or early next week, just because we do have the council-wide blue training this weekend. But Craig will be offering that to leaders in Wateree sometime later this month. So definitely be on the lookout for any new leaders who need blue certification. That training will be offered at the district level sometime later this month. That is it for all the updates from all of the kind of like major district areas that I have. Does anyone have any questions for either myself or anyone on the committee before we adjourn?
Mhm.
Art, yes.
Okay, we need to mention also that we're going to need a chairperson to head up the scouting for food, which is, I know it's a long time away. It's in February, but the way things keep going, that's going to be jumping up on us.
Mhm.
So we need to think about somebody who wants to do that. Maybe we kind of look around for that. And when is the Klondike thing for the troops going to be?
Klondike is the last week of December. Let me pull up the calendar real quick to confirm those dates. Klondike will be from December 27th to December 30th. A Sunday through Wednesday event.
Okay. Send that information out to everybody so that they'll know about it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I'll get that out in short order, I promise.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight, and we appreciate everybody's help. And we probably need to give another shake out. Yeah. Congratulations to Lakeith for his excellent job in organizing the popcorn sales, which would not be as successful without his efforts.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. We have definitely benefited from having another year of Lakeith's leadership in popcorn, even though it kind of came in a little bit late. But Lakeith, you hit the ground running as you always do, and we had a great season thanks to in large part to your efforts and the efforts of all of our leaders to make this as an effective year as possible despite the challenges. So to Lakeith and all of our leaders, as it relates to popcorn, big congratulations to all of you guys. Give yourselves a pat on the back.
Yay.
And I have one alibi. I'm so sorry. So I know June is on board. Is there a way that maybe the week after Thanksgiving, I can come up to council and get with Heather and just take everything that we need to get done as far as moving people around in Scout Book and assigning them positions and all that kind of stuff in advance of the recharters. Like maybe just have an afternoon where I can sit down with Heather and just walk her through everything that needs to be done, because I can't do it myself. And I don't know if you have the wherewithal to do it in Scout Book, Michael.
Yep,
But
that's something that I do not have access to, unfortunately.
yeah, I know that's something that June and Craig and others have been trying to work with Heather on for a while. So I would love to do that if I can, and just take everything from all the trips and all the packs that need to be done and just get it all done in one fell swoop if that's possible.
Yeah, I tried to talk with Heather about that idea a little bit earlier today. Just with kind of like what she had on her work plate and what was on my work plate today just didn't really come together. But it is on my list, like high on my list of things to do to get with Heather to kind of figure out a good day that works for her. That I can send out to our leaders here to try and just have like a one day special where it's just like Wateree leaders figuring out what we need to figure out and kind of getting the right people in the right places and all that good stuff. Anything else for the good of the order? Any questions for myself, Scotty, Art, or just questions for anyone else on the call right now? All right. Well, as Art said before, thank you so much, everyone, for taking some time out of your Thursday evenings to come and talk about scouting and talk about the district. Hope you guys all have a good rest of your night and a good weekend as well. And again, Christina, very much looking forward to hearing all the success about Cubbery this weekend. And once again, thank you again for your leadership. Should be a great time, should be a great weekend for everyone, great weekend for everyone involved. So to those going to the Cubbery, have a great time. To those having other plans this weekend, hope you have a great weekend as well. And we will convene for our last time this year in December. So unless I don't see you before then, see you in December.
Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe.